Mr. Chen, Mr. William Hocher, and of course, all our distinguished ambassadors, and of course also our representative from UN and all the media, and of course the CCG senior fellows, and of course we have, we'll be online, and I'm sure a lot of people will watch this online as well throughout the world. So it's really a great pleasure for me to, together with our World Affair Press, which is affiliated with Ministry of Foreign Affairs, very prestigious publishing house in China, and of course also with Spring and Nature, one of the largest publishers in the world, which they have thousands of libraries and distribution channels throughout the world, very famous for their distribution. So we know that Dr. Li, China head of Spring and Nature, is also with us today. So we are very happy take this occasion to launch these two very important book. One is, of course, it's our book of this China Globalization series, which we did 2022 during the COVID pandemic. And I remember we had a big ambassador roundtable at that time. We have document that. It's been distributed and received a very well response. And now we have that book translated into Chinese now, and which is very important for more Chinese readers to read our ambassadors' views and their analysis. Of course, the great contribution they've made in the bilateral and multilateral relation. Again, today we are launching the new book of the Spring and Nature, the CCG Mabel and I and our team has edited for that book. I'm very glad to share that a bit of the. I'm going to use the PPT here. Let me see if can. I don't see it on the side screen. Okay. Yeah. So that's the first book. I'm going to briefly just introduce you to the book that we have done in the last number of years. Well, I don't see how that move. Okay, that's the book. Okay, China and the world in the changing context. So you see all the handsome gentlemen and ladies on the cover, all those excellencies, over almost 30 of them ambassador in China. I know some of them has gone back, but their legacy remain, of course. So this book is the fourth book of China Globalization. And that's what we have been translated today with the great support of Mr. Trey of the World Affair Publishing House. And so that book actually in the English world has downloaded over 163,000 already. And also it's free on the Kindle of Amazon is also free. So you can see widespread. Of course, we have made Ambassador Roundtable. We have published a lot of report in China. So it's very well covered. I have to say, actually these two books has made history because it was first time, but never before have anybody done anything like that, is to have all the ambassadors in China write a book in English and publish around the world and have that English book translated into Chinese and published throughout China. So I will congratulate all the ambassadors. You made a history. So you are the authors of this great book. So I think this is important, shows that we can, ambassadors as really truly ambassador bridge the global, the differences, and particularly during the COVID, it's so important that ambassadors play such a vital role in communicating, in making the understanding and between China and the outside world. So I want to congratulate all the authors of great ambassadors. And of course, CCG has been very qualified to do this because we've been running, I don't remember how many times ambassador roundtables already. We've done quite a number of them. I mean, the latest we've done was recently. Of course, we had a U.S. ambassador, we had a EU ambassador, Indonesia ambassador. As you can see from the photo, that we have so many ambassadors attended that ambassador roundtable just in the 9th China Globalization Forum. And I think on that occasion, Chinese climate envoy, Minister Xie, said he wants to visit the US. And then Ambassador Nick Burns, very positively accommodated that. And that ended up in the Sunnyland, the meeting they had with John Kerry. And of course, that paved the way for also COP28 of China-US consensus on some of the issues. So this is really great. We had many ambassadors actually make their first appearance at the CCG Roundtable. I remember the German ambassador, Ambassador Flo, actually, Patricia Flo, made her first public speaking event at CCG Roundtable. Probably Nick Burns did the same. His first public speaking event is also at the CCG. So I think we had many occasions honored to host so many ambassadors. And so I think, it's important. Ambassadors are bridges and bellwether for the globalizations. And of course, the special group of ambassadors, of course, they spoke. You're all based in Beijing, based in China. You can, see this country firsthand with your knowledge of your own country, and that's really put China and exchange with the world is really great. So I think that CCG has been established for the 16 years. We are really hope that we can continue our strong cooperation with all the ambassadors and the diplomatic community and of international organizations in China. So actually, this translation of the book, we had the 21 ambassadors in China who have actually published this book. And so I think Bill has just now introduced many of the content of that book. I'm not going to go into details, but I think, this book can really be a mutually beneficial and then, talk about those global challenges and how to create a common ground for the future. And of course, so never before we had such a strong ambassador team to contribute, including most of them 21 articles and some of their speeches, and also from all over the world. We have so many of that. So those are the photos of those contributors. I'm sure some of them has already left, but we have now the new ambassador here to continue the legacy, the spirit, the continuity, which is very good. I know we also have an ambassador from Spain will leave us also soon, but we thank him for the contributions made in 2 books probably. So we really appreciate that. And we have African from countries, ambassador from Africa, and I know some of them have gone. But I'm very glad ambassador from African Union with us throughout this process. Really appreciate. And so we are very happy that he also made a contribution. And then now it's in Chinese now. So and not only that, we have ambassador from different places, Asia and other countries as well. Americans too, it's widely placed and from New Zealand and everywhere. So those are the list of the ambassadors we have just covered in this Chinese book, which Mr. Cui just introduced. Of course, I think Bill touched on a bit of the content of the book, but now we've been translating that into Chinese. Basically, the first part is more about bilateral relations, mutually beneficial relations. We have all the titles. I'm not going into details of that. And of course, that covers all the countries we talked about. Very good examples of bilateral relations. The second part of that book is really talked about facing global challenges together. I think now China and of course all other countries, the UN and all the international agencies, we need to work together. So how we can China and work with the outside world is also part of our roundtable today to really talk about how to meet this common challenge like climate change and AI and digital pandemic. Of course, the conflict we're having right now that is all unprecedented. And so, of course, the part 3 of this book that translated into Chinese talk about creating a common future, how we can really build a connected future that is really important, beneficial to all the countries. So I think this is the book, the first book I would like to talk. And of course, we had many ambassadors who attended the CCG Roundtable, and I mean, like the former Canadian ambassador, he made his first public appearance at a CCG event, even during the difficult times of the bilateral relations. So I think we've been really very accommodating. I think as a bridge, as CCG's mission, we want to connect China and the world. So I'm not going into the details of all those titles and topics of our ambassadors, but basically, they all voiced very good views, very good ideas, made a lot of good suggestions, and we hear those things directly from our ambassadors, which is important. Ambassadors not only represent their country, but also represent their people, and then their voice is so important for the Chinese reader to know. And so I really want to congratulate and thankful for all the ambassadors' contributions. So this is really great. And so let's really navigate the global shift together and then collaborate and for shared success and build a better future. So that's really all about. So again, this is the first Chinese book. I'm going to cover just briefly for the second book of our English book that we're publishing today, worldwide. The second book about the future of China's development and globalization perspective from ambassadors to China. This is the new book that published by Spring Nature and CCG together. So we're very glad. For the last year, we have invited so many ambassadors to join us, and then this book is very good. Actually, China and the Globalization series, it's already published 8 books in the last 2 years. Most of them are free downloads, and has been very well read. Several million. As Mabel mentioned, some books are downloaded on 4 or 5 million. Altogether, probably 10 million has been downloaded of books of this series. So we make this actually a brand of the CCG China and Globalization series. And among them, 2 books are from ambassadors. The second book of this Future of China Development and Globalization. And so for this book is also, again, it's a quite an impressive book. We had many contributors, and then we hope that we'll. I just talked to Mr. Trade. Maybe we'll publish this book again with the World Press, Fair Press, for this second book to the Chinese. So this is, again, it's a keep. The thing is you have to persist doing and keep doing that to continuously reflect the ambassador views and the ideas and recommendations and their wisdom. And so this is very good, built upon a large number of ambassador roundtable we've been doing together with other ambassadors, as I mentioned before. So this book is again now today is a good occasion. We're publishing both the Chinese and English version of 2 different books, ambassadors' views on China, and actually after the event, we're going to have our new Chinese Year reception. We'll have over 100 people tonight, and many more ambassadors will come again. And so we have also people from ministry, from different organizations. So it's a very good occasion to celebrate again Chinese New Year together with our launching of the book tonight as well. And we hope all you stay to see more people. We have a number of senior officials confirmed to attend, and also a number of more ambassadors to come. So again, I mean, this book is an open source book, and it has actually will be online, and we talk that we make that into Chinese as well. I think that basically ambassadors need a larger voice in a fragmented world. I mean, that's probably we have to emphasize. They come in from different countries. Their voice is so important, and we have to hear them in China, and of course reflect their views, their experience, their practice, and their collaboration with China. So this is really, again, a great occasion to do that. So we have 28 on this book. We have 28 Beijing-based ambassadors in China, of course, with 22 essays we collected, and then 5 feature presentation and 3 dialogues and 4 speeches. So it's actually more than a number of occasions they have. And the ambassador coming from Europe, Africa, Asia, and America, Oceania. So it's quite well represented. Of course, you see all the pictures. Again, some of them still here, some of them have left. But again, we continue to work with our ambassadors. We know some of them has been very active. We're very pleased to see them here in our publishing event. And so this is really something never done before, and we try to bring all the perspective together. And so all the ambassadors, we really appreciate their contributions. So this is a list of the ambassadors contributed. I will not go into detail, but on this book, I just emphasize a little bit. But the content of that, the first part is really talk about ebb and flow of the relation with China. I mean, of course, last number of years, China and outside world and the relations has been really, important, more and more important. And then how to reflect that is really in many countries, ambassadors' analysis. So this is really great. I remember I talked to Ambassador George Toledo when he came to Beijing. They said, we have a book. We need to invite you to write. And he did contribute, and I really appreciate your timely contribution. And so the second part is really on the issue of immense potential in cooperation with China. I mean, as China becomes the second largest economy, of course, there's opportunities, but also there's challenges too. So how to make this cooperation work better? I mean, it's also, I think, on the agenda of all the ambassadors. And then there's a reflection on that. And of course, I mean, we have a lot of common challenges, technology, climate, green technology, and all the public health, all those things. I think many ambassadors gave a very good contribution, including the equality, women's rights, and everything. Very, very good. The third part is talk about really the global development and future cooperation. And again, I mean, we had so many ambassadors contribute very good articles on those issues. And given the time, I will not go in the details, but you can see from the book, basically. And then we had one, I have to mention, one of the good things we've done with ambassador from the Nordic countries, 5 Nordic countries. We had ambassador roundtable here. Very good discussion. We have been, include that into the book on how we can learn from the commonwealth that's already been built in the Nordic countries. So very good experience of that. And I just met the former ambassador of Sweden at OECD. I mean, OECD invited me to give a talk with all the ambassadors of OECD. Your former ambassador Hannah was there, and we had also afterwards, there was a 10 ambassador, we had lunch together. It was a 33 ambassadors attended from OECD during the Paris Peace Forum when I was there. So it's really good experience. I mean, I can see this section, specialized section. We did another ambassador roundtable with Pacific Alliance of Latin American countries. We did one big one with African Union, 64 African Union countries attended our event. So we had many things like that. So we hope that we will continue. So there's some dialogue we have included. We did quite a few dialogues. CCG will continue to do some dialogues with our ambassadors roundtable, and of course in the future, we hope to do that. And then many made a very good speech at our event. We have also collected some of that into this book. So very representative, very wide-ranging voice from different parts of the world, very valuable, useful, and so we learn a lot. I mean, as a think tank for China and global, so it's really important for us to do that. And so I'm not going to cover all the details. I think you have read the book. I will just probably conclude basically, let's adapt to the dynamic global changes and forge partnership for collective prosperity and build a resilient and connected globalization. I mean, that's the message we want to convey, and it's very important for that. So I also want to thank our team, of course, Dr. Li from Springer, and also we had Emily from Springer, Shirley from CCG, and of our staff to also working with all ambassadors supporting this initiative. So again, I appreciate all your time. I know it's very valuable, but all your speeches, all your ideas will be well remembered, will be well promoted and discussed here at Roundtable. So again, thank you all for your contribution, and I thank the publisher of Springer Nature, and particularly our Chinese presence, Mr. Cui from World Fair Press, and Chief Editor Wang, and all the others for attending. So thank you all very much.